Hello again and welcome to Pearl Magazine. Earlier this year, the city's top court ruled that the government breached the rights of two trans men by preventing them from changing their gender on their ID cards. But almost 6 months later, trans people still can't change their gender marker. Zella Chin has more on the struggles of this minority group.
Brenda Alegre is from the Philippines. She's been living in the city since 2011. And she teaches gender studies at the University of Hong Kong. She often shares her own personal experience with her students.
I grew up at a time where we didn't have the language, for gender identities and gender expression, but I just clearly knew, even if I was assigned male at birth, that I think deep down I'm a woman, regardless of my anatomy.
Brenda was born male, but identifies as female. She admired strong female role models when she was growing up.
I really resonate with my mom, my late mother. So I see her as, I wanted to become that kind of woman when I grow up. But the fictional figure that I wanted to be like when I grew up was Wonder Woman.
And she was pleased to get her top surgery in 2016.
When everything healed, it felt so natural. I felt that this is the body that I'm meant to have.
She has no intention of getting bottom surgery. Life in Hong Kong as a transgender woman isn't always easy.
And at one point, when I already had my top surgery, so I went in the toilet. When I got out, I was asked by men, about 4 of them and a woman, asking me the most intrusive of questions, like, are you a real woman? Are you a woman? Do you have a vagina? So after that, I felt quite traumatized, really traumatized by the event. The experience also feeling like being bullied, it's like 5 people questioning me.
Brenda says they backed off when they saw photos of male superstars on her phone and was convinced she was a woman who was interested in dating men.
They stopped questioning me in very invasive ways. Instead, they just asked, why didn't I want to change my gender marker on my Hong Kong ID? And I said, but that back then, we don't have any laws that would allow a non-operated trans woman to have her gender marker change.
If someone wants to change the gender marker on the Hong Kong identity card, the Immigration Department policy requires the person to produce medical proof for a sex change from female to male, removal of the uterus and ovaries, and construction of a penis or some form of a penis. For a sex change from male to female, medical proof of a removal of the penis and testes, and construction of a vagina.
Hong Kong has one of the the harshest requirements in Asia, if not the harshest, because you have to have complete sterilization, and these are really invasive surgeries, and really high complication rates, especially with genital reconstruction, and I didn't need that.
Henry Che challenged the legality of the policy that requires full sex reassignment surgery to amend the Hong Kong ID in the courts. Henry was born a female, but identifies as male.
I studied at an evangelical girls' school in Hong Kong during the secondary school stage, which was really unpleasant and really repressive. And I also hated wearing the cheongsam, the uniform. My behavior certainly wasn't considered as very feminine, not very ladylike, something that this school emphasized a lot. And they saw me as a tomboy.
Henry lived in Hong Kong until he was 17 years old, and then went to the UK for further studies and work.
I started taking male hormones when I was in the UK about 10 years ago. After taking hormones, I started developing a deeper voice, muscle tones like a typical male would develop.
He completed his top surgery in 2013.
I could, feel very carefree when I take my shirt off. So it was pretty liberating for me after top surgery, and I felt like my transition had completed after that point.
And he doesn't feel the need to have bottom surgery. He got a gender recognition certificate in the UK, which allowed him to live as a man.
It means that I can have certainty when living my daily life in the UK. And that means that I wouldn't be outed when I apply for jobs. My gender history would be in fact well protected under the law, and also I could actually have a future in the UK. It means that I could marry as a man, I can adopt, I get access to IVF service, etc., etc.
Henry moved back to Hong Kong in 2017 for a job opportunity. He had problems with the female gender marker on his Hong Kong ID.
So having an incorrect ID that doesn't reflect the fact that I'm male just brings me to all sorts of problems in Hong Kong. When I try to withdraw my money from the bank, my counterparty wouldn't believe that I'm this bearded man. Actually, I got rejected one time when I tried to rent a place at a youth hospital after presenting my ID, when the conversation was initially going very well. So I'm basically, erased from society because of the ID card issue.
He used to love playing team sports as a child.
Playing sports have become a big problem for me, and it's now impossible for me to join either the male team or the female team because legally I'm not male, but then of how I look, it's impossible for me to join any kind of women's team.
Henry attempted to change the gender marker on his Hong Kong ID with a letter from his doctor that stated he had completed his top surgery but not the bottom surgery, which was medically unnecessary. The government rejected his application.
Having the wrong ID just basically gets me to this situation where I'm outed and I'm humiliated, embarrassed in daily life whenever I present my ID, and it's a form of torture for me, but then the surgery itself, it's also another form of torture for me because it's major surgeries, and I don't want to subject myself into this kind of physical pain and prolonged complications. So I had no choice but to file the case at the end.
Henry filed the case against the government in 2017. In February, Hong Kong's top court ruled in Henry's favor. The Court of Final Appeals judgment says policy requiring female-to-male transgender persons to undergo full sex reassignment surgery for altering the gender markers on their Hong Kong ID cards violate the appellant's Bill of Rights, Article 14, which says no one shall be subjected to arbitrary or unlawful interference with his privacy. And this is mirrored in the UN's Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
They hand down the judgment confirming that, in short, is such a policy requirement requiring a full surgery violates the Bill of Rights, which is to protect the someone's right to privacy. The court found that this requirement is unconstitutional and violate the rights.
Hui Chong worked on Henry's case. It's been almost 6 months since the ruling, but trans people still can't change the gender marker on their identification documents. We asked the Immigration Department for an update on the gender marker policy. It replied via email. The government has been actively reviewing the conditions for amendment of the Hong Kong ID gender markers, having regard to the associated policy issues, including necessary consultation with the medical professionals and related research work. We strive to complete the review within a reasonable period.
We did ask what is the time frame, is there any milestone days, but we yet to have an answer from the administration.
Hong Kong could follow other jurisdictions. According to the judgment, other jurisdictions require a declaration plus medical evidence in deciding whether gender markers on identification documents should be changed. Human rights lawyer Mark Daly specializes in LGBT cases, but did not work on the current case. He says the impact of the ruling to society is minimal, but significant for the trans community.
We need to recognize that this is a very small, vulnerable minority. And this particular group, you're dealing with rights, very important rights to privacy, privacy, non-discrimination, cruel, inhuman, degrading treatment and punishment involved.
The landmark ruling applies to identification documents only. It does not mean all Hong Kong laws are changed to accommodate transgender people.
While it's an important precedent, a good step forward for transgender rights, but it doesn't cut across all issues. So there's other cases coming up through the courts in different circumstances involving custody, involving what you do with a transgender person when in detention. Where do they go in the male or female section, and then issues relating to usage of public toilets. So those issues are coming up.
While trans people continue to fight for equal rights, they want society to know that they've always been a part of the community.
It will not take too much to learn more about us, because most likely you have a friend who is transgender, you have a sister, you have a brother. We are not a new concept, we are not a Western concept. In fact, there are different ways of being transgender in different cultures. It's just that we're real.
When we return, the most sought-after profession by kids. Stay with us. Welcome back to Pearl Magazine. Decades ago, young people used to want a career in business, or maybe to be a doctor or a lawyer. Today, this has changed. A local survey shows that the most sought-after career among Hong Kong primary school children is to become a superstar. Tonight, Pearl Magazine's Tina Jiang talks to experts, teachers, parents, and young superstar wannabes to learn more about their passion and the price of being famous.
1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4.
Jensen Lee, a kindergartner, has been attending this acting class regularly for a year.
3, 2, 1, action!
Hello， 大家好，我叫李孝耀，我今年4歲半，我中意食朱古力同埋魚蛋，我中意畫默片車，多謝大家。Pose.
Here at the talent school, kids like Jensen learn to model and act. Many dream of becoming superstars.
嗱，我哋都可以喺企翻嗰度嘅 ，OK？ 邊個想試下先？
Wing Yim is the teacher and curriculum director of the school. She's also responsible for identifying and nurturing young talent within the classroom.
Over the years, we have had many talented students who have had the chance to perform in TV or movie productions. One of our most well-known success stories is a former student who won the Best Supporting Actor award at the Hong Kong Film Awards, which we are very proud of.
The school now has 6 branches across Hong Kong with over 500 students.
Although not many of our students make it into the entertainment industry, we offered a range of filming opportunities to give them a chance to explore performing arts and potentially enter the industry.
4-year-old Jensen Lee has recently started doing print and online advertisements.
For his first commercial, I was quite surprised because I think his normal days at home, he could be quite loud and be silly, but when he gets serious, he could be quite serious and get the job done. So I can see some kind of quality of potential that he could be in this industry already.
1, 2, 3, action.
We are Hong Kong babies.
No, they're UVD.
We are.
Jensen's mother, Jennifer Poon, believes that her son has what it takes to be a future star. So decided to put him through acting classes.
When we start to enroll into the acting school, he was about 3 years old. So we thought that, okay, now it's about time.
In the beginning, the young boy would spend 1.5 hours each week in acting school. But now he is investing even more time.
Now he get a bit more popular, so this school might need him a bit more, so he might be spending 2 or 3 hours a week instead in the school. And for example, this week he have other activities to do as well, so there's another 2 or 3 hours of shooting on Wednesday, and then today, you know, the whole morning was in the school, another 3 hours again. I think we can afford to, put his study aside for the first few years when he's still very young, before he get into primary school or secondary school. Then he can do more of the acting, singing, dancing, learning in the entertainment area. If people is interested and want him to be a K-pop or Canton pop star, who knows? If one day he can be a pop star, he can be a superstar, people look up to him and he can influence people in a good way. So why not?
Jennifer says that she could sing quite well when she was a teenager. She had dreamed of becoming a singer.
Actually, when I was about 15, I got an opportunity to be a singer. So I was actually approached by a quite famous Hong Kong entertainment company to be a singer in Hong Kong, and they promised me that I would have a great future. Unfortunately, I was too rational and I turned it down, and I pursued my study, and today I became an accountant. I guess I'm a bit risk averse, so I'm not a risk taker.
But Jennifer thinks that her son is more adventurous than she is, and therefore more suitable to get into the entertainment industry.
He's very outgoing. He likes to make a lot of friends. He really likes acting. He really likes to see himself on the TV. He got very excited that, he got interviewed by TVB, because I watch TVB all the time. I think maybe I should let him try when he was young.
Jennifer understands that working in the entertainment industry at a young age won't be easy. So she says that she won't push her son to do it unless he really wants to.
It's not an easy path. We know that. The income is not, stable, and it's very different to being professional. We have a very, very nice and fixed salary. We can plan our life. But being an artist or entertainer sometimes is very hard. But of course, you get that name. People get to know you. I really want him to tell me, does he like it or not, rather than I'm one that make the call for him and say that I don't think that's good for you. You shouldn't be doing it. Or no, I want to be a, superstar mom. So you have to do it. You have to make it happen. So it's neither of that. It's just more of, I think it will be quite fun. And then his personality does suit, the industry somehow. So I just let him to have a go. Who knows? Maybe after a couple of years, he say, "No, Mom, I just love my numbers. I just want to be a scientist," and that's it.
I want to be an actress or singer when I grow up because I often practice with the choir. So I like singing. I like a pop group called Blackpink.
11-year-old Elaine Chung has been training at the talent school for 2 years.
I enjoy performing because I can meet different people and go to different places in the world that I haven't been to. And I can learn more.
Elaine's mother has been cautiously positive about her daughter's decision, though.
I think she's still young and tends to think it is easy. She doesn't know a lot. But if she's really talented and works hard in that direction, I think she can give it a try.
After attending acting classes for a few years, Maggie has seen some improvement in her daughter.
I say that her empathy is getting stronger. She will consider your feelings and put herself into other people's shoes. She used to say that, "I want to be a princess." She always wanted to be a princess. But the teacher would tell her in class that, in fact, she will do different roles, even if it is a beggar. And she will not refuse. She wants to try everything. I think it is actually good. And in terms of concentration, because she practices the script, you will see that she has improved.
Many of Elaine's classmates are also passionate about being a superstar one day.
My name is Alice. I am 12 years old this year. I think being an actress can help me relieve all like emotions inside of me, so I can show other people how I actually feel.
預備，3、2、1 ，action！
真係讀書讀到好攰啊！
我哋不如去嗰間嘅客棧嗰度睇下有咩飲啊！
好啊！
I'm 9 years old this year. I want to be a star when I grow up because I like to act and my family can see me on television.
真係唔知呢度有咩食？
法官同你飲酒啊！
走開啊！客官你好。
My name is Takenaka Asuka. I am 8 years old. When I grow up, I want to be a superstar. My friends can see me on the movie, and I will walk on the red carpet.
A few years ago, a local organization conducted a study interviewing more than 1,000 local primary students about their ideal occupation and found that the top result was to become a pop star, while traditional careers such as teachers, doctors, and lawyers ranked 4th, 5th, and 9th, respectively.
Becoming a child star, they will have fame and money. They can have more exposure to new experiences. They can interact with people from different backgrounds. Their social skills may be enhanced. But I think there may be the privacy issue and also public scrutiny associated with the intrusiveness from media. They may not have enough time to play and study or have normal interaction with their peers. And also their peers may label them as very strange, and this may affect their interpersonal or peer relationship.
Professor Sylvia Kwok has been teaching social work and researching children and families for over 30 years. She suggests parents provide better guidance to their star wannabes and, most importantly, respect their rights as children.
I don't encourage parents to let their children be actors. If they just perform once or twice on stage, that is okay. But if they constantly and continuously do this job, I think it will definitely affect their normal life. Children should have the right to play and study in their childhood. The rights of children should be respected.
That's our show for this week. Join us on Pearl Magazine, same time next week. Bye for now.